welcome to the MD is Bad podcast, where the name is misleading, but the fans can't hear me. Well, you guys asked, and we're delivering. Once again, we have the incredible Yagster and Dire Duck joining me for today's episode. Super excited to have them back. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Dire, how are you?
I am also doing fairly good. I've just been very, very busy today.
Fair enough.
That does make two of us. I was literally finishing my schoolwork right before we started recording, so it's Tuesday. It's not Monday, but it's not Friday either.
Right.
I would call Tuesday like the Monday of the days in between Monday and Friday.
Well, it's midweek, isn't it? We were in the malaise of doing the work before the weekend, and we're all just dreading it.
Yes.
Sad. People that go to school or college or have a job, you know the feeling of various degrees.
Or if you're like me, both. But that's a common story. A lot of people, if I can allow everyone to peek behind the curtain, quote unquote, for a second, a lot of your favorite content creators have lives outside of what they do for YouTube. In fact, I don't know a single one that doesn't have like some kind of job, some kind of school, something else that they're doing. Even if they do YouTube full time, chances are they're running some kind of business on top of it. If the YouTube isn't their business, it's a part of it. So there's full kudos to everyone that ventures out and does this content creation thing and takes it as seriously as they can, because it's a riot sometimes.
Sometimes.
Just sometimes, yeah.
Definitely. I don't know. Have you guys actually, before we get into that, so I apologize. Last episode, I meant to ask you guys about your origins, I should guess. I should say with
origin story.
Well, in regards to Murder Drones, I should say. Didn't get to that question, so I apologize for that. So
you're good, man.
Thank you. I just want to start with this because a lot of people might not be aware, especially from the audience that listens to this podcast. But what was your starting point with Murder Drones? Where were you first exposed to it?
Dire, would you like to start?
No, I feel like you start. I feel more poignant.
No. It's just you start, Dire.
Really?
No, you jump first. No, you jump first.
Ladies first. Yeah, come on.
All right. If you say so. So I have a very interesting starting point because I think, at least from my experience, a good chunk of MD fans that I've seen also have the same starting point as I do, which is I was an SMG4 fan, which is pretty much like, Super Mario 64, Gmod tomfoolery. And the co-founders of Glitch, Kevin and Luke, like SMG4 was like their main thing before Glitch. So it started in like 2018, I believe, or 2019, one of the two, where they made their first show, which was Meta Runner. And that got me hooked because it was like a more serious approach. It was like their first ever time doing indie animation as a whole. And generally, I really liked it. And around 2020, they announced Murder Drones, and just been here ever since because it just really got my attention.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Cool.
Every time I hear about, I still haven't watched any of the SMG4 stuff, and I have zero excuses. A lot of people, I mean, they're still making content right now, right?
They are, yes, definitely.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. Dire Duck was. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, it's very complicated and very wacky. There's like probably like 70 plus hours of content you have to watch to even get like a basic understanding of most things. Luckily, there's a lot of playlists, I'm pretty sure, on the SMG4 channel that's all organized, everything. They do like arcs and everything in like chronological order. It's a whole shebang of stuff, pretty much.
Is it quite like, are we talking Skibidi Toilet levels of length, or
at some points, kind of, but the pacing is generally pretty all right, I'd say. Because it does span a couple years. So yeah.
That's fair. Now, Dire Dick, I know you mentioned this on the last time we had you on. You're a Liam Vickers like OG fan, right?
Yes. So the reason why I asked for Yag's origin to be explained first is because that's the standard origin for Murder fans. I am completely different. My origins have nothing to do with Glitch or SMG4 or the other Glitch stuff. I hadn't watched Meta Runner, I hadn't watched Sunset Paradise, and I only watched some of the very, very, very early SMG4 stuff, like very much more YouTube poop kind of thing rather than a fully Gmod animation, which it is now. I didn't even consciously clock they were the same thing for a while, because way back in the day it was like really early stuff. I was an OG Liam Vickers fan, and I came from purely that side of the fandom. So Liam Vickers has had quite a storied history on the internet, a lot longer than you may think he does. He didn't start with Murder Drones, he didn't start with Cliffside, he didn't start with his Liam Vickers animation channel. He actually started with his old SSDWL channel, and he did on some other channels he did with his friends, where they the main thing though was the scary story time with Liam Vickers' channel, which he uploaded creepypastas, musical songs, and some written series that he did on there, and that really formed the bedrock of a lot of his writing abilities and tropes and things he likes to use or do in his shows. If you go back and read those, you'll see the massive similarity to some of the stuff that's in there that we later find in Murder Drones and Indonesian Cube and his more recent work. Yeah, so I followed him all the way back through that until like 2014, somewhere around there, and all the way up until now. So I came straight from SSTWL, then to Liam Vickers Animation, and then to Murder Drones. So like really no connection with Glitch up until Murder Drones.
So I'm glad that you brought up, is it SSWL? Is that what it's called?
SSTWL.
SSTWL.
Yeah, Scary Story Time with
Liam. Scary Story Time with Liam. Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that existed until a week or so ago. Somebody actually commissioned me to draw one of the characters. I can't remember what her name was.
Oh, which one?
She has like a cross necklace and they look like submachine guns.
Julie?
Oh, that's no, that's not Julie. That's not Julie. I know that's the name escapes me. Like C something or other. I know exactly.
Subject 0111 was the name I was given.
Yeah.
So
most of the Homebound arc.
Okay, Homebound. So no experience with that whatsoever. I still did it. I drew the character. I actually drew it in person and then took that and put it into a computer and edited it together.
I bet I know which image they got. I bet I know. They gave you. I bet they gave you this image, didn't they, as a reference? It's on the music video. I'll just drop it down here for you guys now. I bet you gave you.
It probably is the image. Yeah, that's literally the only image I could find. So
yeah,
I did change the pose, and I'm not going to say it was like the best art I've ever done, but I had a lot of fun because Liam has that very distinct style, especially for his early characters. But a couple of my fans are huge fans of Scary Story Time with Liam. And they're giving me links to like playlists and
there's a very small but dedicated cult for SSDWL.
Yeah, like I'm blown away. I have a lot of stuff I need to watch because I've talked about it before.
A lot, yeah.
Well, I've mentioned before. I'm planning on tackling Internesian Cube. I always get it.
Internesian
Cube. Thank you. I'm gonna get it wrong again, I'm sure, but
you're good.
Internesian Cube. I'm planning on tackling that as soon as MD Season 2 is done, and possibly wrapping that up. But a lot of people, well, not a lot, but some of the people that follow me that are fans of Scary Story Time with Liam want me to go back because apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't finished.
Dire.
Which one? Internesian Cube or?
Well, I know Internesian Cube wasn't finished, but Scary Story Time with Liam.
90% what Liam has done is unfinished. He has 4 big series. Those were Puppet Game, Design, Black Dogs, and Yellow Halogen. There's also a couple other ones about the Alaska series, but that's the anthology that was finished. Out of those 3, Design wasn't finished. It stopped midway through its 3rd season. Puppet Game wasn't finished. It stopped about about 3/4 way through, most likely based on where the story was going. Black Dogs was finished. And Yellow Halogen was technically finished, but basically baited a season 2 that never happened. So not technically finished, but not really. So Black Dogs is the only one that's actually completed from start to finish.
Wow. Well, how lucky we are that I guess Murder Drones has a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. I guess I've got a lot of work to do if I end up tackling that. I guess I'll have to
You're
wait and
good.
see what because I mean, do you guys think well, obviously there is an audience for it because people are still talking about all the stuff, especially now that Murder Drones has been completed for a while. I guess I'm trying to segue into the comic because since we've last talked,
Right.
so do you guys want to give me a rundown real quick? What happened with the Murder Drones comic and where does it sit right now?
Which one? Do you mean the one that's
The Kickstarter, yeah?
The Kickstarter specifically. So give me a basic rundown. What is the Kickstarter comic thing? I know Dire Duck, you released a video on it.
Oh yeah.
So what is it and where does it sit now?
It's a graphic novel that it seems to have been commissioned by Oni Press, which is a well-known, like they're well known for this kind of thing. They do a lot of these kind of stuff, and some like relatively established artists and writers. So these aren't just randos. But it seems to, from what I can tell, doesn't really seem to have any actual involvement from Glitch or Liam themselves.
There's very limited interaction with them.
They approved it, but they haven't really promoted it. They made a post on Twitter, but they don't seem to have any direct involvement, either of them, in the project. But obviously they get the green light to do it. And obviously went by Kickstarter because Glitch clearly was unwilling to fund it, and neither was Only Press out of their pockets, so they wanted to Kickstarter it. And yeah, it shot up to about 500,000 in a couple of days, so it got its funding.
No, it shot up to 500,000 within a day, Dire. I remember that.
A day?
It was definitely a day. I can tell you that much. Yeah, no. I was there on the page live when it was first announced. It got like 100K like in like 10 minutes. People really were supportive of it, to say the least.
So I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is just rumors that I've gotten from some of my followers.
Yes.
I guess so. There's supposed to be more than one comic, and there's
6 issues. Yeah.
So 6 issues. What are those 6 issues going to cover, Yaxter?
I don't believe it's ever explicitly said, but the entire thing should be a retelling of the show, from start to finish. How faithful it will be to the source material is a whole other topic of discussion, because there's no like Liam like approval on like some of the decisions that are made probably. So it's very open to interpretation in terms of like how like the issues are going to translate each episode. Because there's 6 of them and there's 136 pages total in the comic. So that should be roughly 23 pages per issue. So with that type of pacing, it can be safe to assume that hopefully each issue covers around 2 episodes each. Because I know I have the image somewhere. The cover for issue 1 of the comic shows Uzi and Eldritch J, which in my opinion is interesting, because you'd think that, you know, since it's issue 1, it'd be like about the pilot, but that's episode 2 stuff right there. So it's safe to assume that the pacing will be much faster, at least in my opinion.
Is that the thing?
Mm-hmm. It's on the Kickstarter website, on the tiers and everything.
No, I mean,
that real quick.
Is that a reference to the thing?
Almost certainly, yes. Almost certainly.
Absolutely.
With the eye growth on the thing, if I grab the thing.
If you can get the image there. Yeah.
Oni Press. So you were saying Oni Press isn't technically associated with Glitch or Liam Vickers, but they
are a third party.
But yeah, they don't seem to be directly working.
Yeah.
Like if that's not a reference, I don't know what it is. And you're saying the fact that the Murderers itself got massive inspiration from Dead Space, and that got massive inspiration from The Thing, definitely overlaps. It's definitely a deliberate reference. Like, look at that, it had to be a deliberate reference.
So
yep.
let's see, Wyatt Kennedy. I've never heard of Wyatt Kennedy or Joe Ming-Young.
Mi-Gyeong, I believe.
I did a bit of Googling, and they're both pretty established artists in doing this kind of thing. They're not just out of the woodwork people. They're pretty. These are proper people.
Legitimate, yeah.
But they're like, again, they have nothing to do with Glitch nor Murder Drones nor Liam, and again, and Glitch nor Liam have no involvement in it. So the real topic of debate seems to be: will it be a faithful retelling, just exactly the sort of do, or will it deviate? Will it have different plot lines? Will it show different perspectives? What's it actually going to do? I'm of the belief that because Liam doesn't have any involvement in it, it will be a purely faithful retelling with nothing really changed, because Liam is very closed off with what's allowed to be done with his property. So I highly doubt that he, especially in comparison to ones like Gooseworks, who are much more open about what's done. That's why you see the digital Circus voice actors doing fan song collaborations, and you see none of that in Murder Drones, unfortunately. But consider the fact they have, again, Liam has no involvement with what we can tell, apart probably assuming given the formal green light, it means that they can't stray from the source material at all. But I believe Yag thinks differently.
I do, for the sole reason of, since it's a third party, and since obviously, I believe the creator said in an interview, Wyatt Kennedy at least, they have barely spoken to Glitch employees, because that's how they even got the approval to make this comic. And they have never spoken to Liam, like outright, never spoken to him. So that can be a bit of an interesting divide in terms of like how faithful this is going to be, because I would assume they've hopefully at least seen the show already, at least once. But because they've never actually spoken to Liam, they are by definition going to have to make decisions that he would either not approve of or would not do. So I firmly believe that the adaptation will either be drastically different or make very fundamental changes that the canon show would not do, or Liam would not do. Just right off the bat, I mean, we can already see, Eldritch J on issue 1 of 6, like that's drastically different, because Eldritch J is barely even a threat in like the actual show, but like they're propping her up to be, this massive threat from the looks of things. You can also see off, hold up, where is it? I have the image somewhere. Just off like the cover pages, like nothing like this ever happens in canon. You have Uzi and N in space, and like there's asteroids everywhere. Like it does not look like Murder Drones in terms of. Oh wait, no, fair point. Yeah, no, that's a skull. Anyways, yeah. Point is, like, that does not look like a screenshot from the show. It looks like it's made completely up for the comic. So,
I mean, I'd argue that the thumbnails never appear in the show either.
Okay, but they're more accurate because it has to depict the setting and the characters, and obviously. But
I mean, if you look at comic book issues, 90% of the time it's not a shot or thing from the actual comic book. I don't think we could draw too much comparison from that personally.
I don't know. I'm going off purely vibes here, and they've never spoken to Liam. They have barely any contact with Glitch, as said by themselves in an interview. And generally, just the vibe I'm getting in terms of, like, does this look like it would happen in the show, is drawing me to the conclusion that this will be taking its own creative liberties once the actual thing is out.
It looks a lot brighter than the show, too. I know it's a comic.
Oh, definitely.
Comics are supposed to be, brighter and colorful. That's how they draw you in, but I don't remember, like, this is just based on the image I'm looking at right now, this is the same one. Uzi and N are on the cover. She's shooting a railgun. Lots of greens, purples, yellows. The show is really dark, and it allows...
It is, yeah.
Well, it allows the drones themselves to stand out because they've got their, digital displays, and the railgun obviously has a very distinct silhouette to it, but I don't know. I gotta say, my biggest concern with this comic right now is the fact that it's on... I didn't even know the stuff that you guys have brought up with them, like, never having talked to Liam. That's insane. Like...
That is, yeah.
Like, if my book... So, I just published American Nexus, the complete series, and it's on Amazon right now. If somebody wanted to do, like, a comic adaptation of it and didn't talk to me, like, at all... I would be a little honestly upset. Not to say I wouldn't want that to happen, but it's like, okay, we've got a quote here. Who's this from? AIPT?
That's the interviewer. I have no idea what that actually is, but WK is Wyatt Kennedy, the creator of the comic.
So what does he say? What does he say?
Again, I certainly hope Liam is happy with the fire result, implying he doesn't. He's but I just see it.
So the question is, I assume this is the person doing the interview. I assume you've had convos / interactions with writer-director Liam Vickers. How much insider guidance did they offer, if at all? WK. This is Wyatt Kennedy.
Wyatt Kennedy, yes.
So he says, in response to this pretty obvious question, I actually haven't spoken with Liam, just a small handful of people at Glitch, all of which were super kind and specific in their vision. I certainly hope Liam's happy with the final bro.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Doesn't inspire the most amount of confidence.
And you couple this with the fact that it's a Kickstarter thing. And like, don't get me wrong, great things have come out of Kickstarter. As soon as I think of one, I'll let you know. But Kickstarter has a pretty rough history with projects, especially projects that get into the not triple digits, but like anything that gets close to that 500,000 range and above. It always generates media buzz, and there have been problems in the past with people not getting what they've paid for. And I don't want to assume anything. Like you guys said, based on what we know, Wyatt Kennedy and Mi-Gyeong.
Yeah.
They're both professionals. They've been in the industry for a while. So, oh man, I'm a little worried though. I'm worried for a couple different reasons. How familiar are you guys with the modern day comic industry?
Not even remotely familiar.
I have the most vaguest of vagueness.
Okay.
With the modern comic industry.
I'll just sum it up like this. It freaking sucks. Now is arguably the worst comics have ever been. Do you guys remember? I don't know if you ever got a hold of this. There was a book series as a kid. It was a graphic series called, or a graphic novel series called Bone. Do you guys remember Bone?
Can't say I've ever heard of it.
But I heard the name, but don't know what it is.
So Bone was really popular when I was a kid. Let me see if I can pull it up here. One of many examples of graphic novels that were aimed at kids, but were mature enough that adults could still enjoy them. There were a couple other series that I liked, like I think, was it City of Bones was one of them. There were Star Wars, the Clone Wars comics. This is before Disney acquired Star Wars. And I think before episode 3 came out. Those comics were fine, is what I'm trying to say. But when you think of comics, you probably don't think of what I just described. Maybe the Star Wars stuff. Maybe. But most people, when they think of comics, they think of superheroes. I think that's fair to say. So you would think with and I don't want to get too deep into it, but you would think with the rise of the MCU and the overwhelming success of those movies, even the resurgence of the Snyder version of the Justice League film, you would think that comic books would reflect the success of the films. They haven't been successful lately, but you would think the comics have somehow turned the most iconic fictional characters in the last, 50, 60, 70 years? They've turned those characters into some of the most unlikable and not fun storylines I've ever read. And that comes from me. I've been on the internet for quite a while, and I've seen some pretty bad fan fictions in my time. There are comic books out right now that are so bad, they make what's posted to Wattpad, however you say it.
Wattpad, yeah.
They make Wattpad fan fictions look better. Like, it's insane. The dip in quality that I've seen in comics. again, I don't want to get too far into it. There are channels out there that are far better equipped to cover these subjects than we are. But the comic book industry has a serious problem right now, and it's one that's reminiscent of the problems that Hollywood faces, where rather than hiring people who are fans of the properties that they're making, they hire people that are at best just looking for a job. And that often leads to them depicting characters. These are characters like Batman and Superman. Like, people know who Batman and Superman are. These writers come in and they try and reinterpret how the characters will act, how they'll perform. Now, again, I'm not saying that Mr. Kennedy and Miss Mi-Gyeong, I'm sorry.
Mi-Gyeong? Yeah.
Mi-Gyeong. I don't do names very well.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I'm not saying that they're going to do the same thing. However, I think that whether you're a fan of comics or a fan of Murder Drones or both, I do think there is some justification in being cautious about this. Now, I hope I'm completely wrong. I hope this is a one, like you guys were saying, 1-for-1 recreation with incredible art. I think the art's going to be incredible no matter what, but I really hope this is a 1-for-1 thing. My biggest fear is everyone who pre-orders the comic, they open up this first issue and the very first scene is like, Uzi is not Uzi, and N is not N. They look like the characters, but they don't act like the characters. And I don't want this to, because think about it this way. What do you guys think would happen if the comic comes out and it's awful? What do you guys think the repercussions of that would be?
I think a lot of trust in Glitch for sure would be broken between the fandom and Glitch. Be a lot of negative feedback on social media. People maybe quote unquote boycotting to some degree. Generally, not a fun time for both sides, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Dyer?
Yeah, I think honestly it'll be a kick up for a month. It'll be the subject of YouTube videos for like a couple of weeks, and then it will probably die out, to be perfectly honest. Like, I don't have much faith in the Glitch community to hold Glitch accountable for a long period of time consistently. Like, right. I feel it'll be a big splash and it'll dissipate. And Glitch will probably count on that. So yeah.
That's fair. For sure.
I think if nothing else, it'll set a bad precedent. Heaven forbid anyone wants to make their own Murder Drones comic at some point. There are plenty of people that already have. And speaking of fan projects, actually, I want to segue here. So Dire Duck, you're working on, is it called Insecurity?
Insecurity. Yes, Murder Drones Insecurity, yeah.
Okay, so I know you've done sort of like a behind the scenes, if you will, sort of video, or like an announcement video. Just on the off chance that anybody listening doesn't know what Murder Drones Insecurity is, lay it out for us. Like, pitch it to me, for example.
Oh, okay. Without just rehashing the summaries we've already done in multiple places. It's a fan AU that is AU set in the alternate timeline. Sort of focuses on an alternate retelling of Murder Drones, where several things have been slightly altered and changed. For example, the WDF is a lot more competent, and things started going wrong in the colony quite a bit before any murderers ever showed up. So things have like somewhat deteriorated. Like, there's still, the worker drones are still kicking around, but it's more of a harsh world to survive in, and as such, the colony's adapted to that. So they're not all as chill and as silly as things were. It's why they're more armed and they fight back a lot more and are more capable generally. Because if they weren't, they'd all be dead by now. And so you'll be witnessing an alternate version of First Contact with the Murder Drones, and it's just mostly a question about following our WDF characters as they attempt to just survive in that world, and with all the horrors of MD that come along with it.
So, what's your biggest challenge going into this project right now?
many of them. We're trying to match the scale and quality of glitch on a team of volunteers.
Dang.
Which I don't think, I don't think I need to explain to you why a team of passionate volunteers versus a fully backed company. It's a lot more difficult to meet that same quality requirement. At the moment, I think we're doing it. But yeah, it's definitely a massive undertaking. It's why it's taken so long to do. We aren't skipping on quality here. We're going all out. So all the assets, all the models, the scripts, everything is top notch and perfected. So hopefully when it comes out, and I might say you sound arrogant to say this potentially, so forgive me, but we're hoping it to, again, roughly match the same quality as the actual show.
Based on what I've seen, I would say based on the teasers you guys have put out and even the screenshots and images, it looks to be that way. And I'm personally really excited to see it. I'm excited with most fan-made Murder Drones stuff. Um, I just, I don't know. I'm excited that people are still making Murder Drones content, and I hope that continues for a long time. Not just for the sake of our channels, but I mean, I wanted to ask you guys. I might have asked you guys this last time, so I apologize if I did. Do you guys think we're ever gonna get a season 2 to Murder Drones, like an official one?
I think the two ways of getting a season 2 is, or three ways. If Liam decides, hey, I really want to, Glitch might do something. The success of the Kickstarter shows a lot of attention, so Glitch might do something for that regard. And the third thing is the success of fan projects. Like, I'm going to use our project as an example, but I don't want to sound too egotistical of it. So again, I'm just using it for example. If they see our project, our cover comes out, gets like 10 million views, something like that. Glitch, that'll be a sign to Glitch, hey, there's money to be made here, bluntly. So it might be worth reinvesting. But I know they are obviously stuck with Digital Circus and Gaslight for the foreseeable future. I think it's honestly more likely we see Liam revive Cliffside through their new 2D animated department. But this whole thing is so unprecedented, and there's no set standard for what Glitch is going to do, because is it a case of they just won't let people come back after one show? Seems a bit weird them doing that. Would they even allow a season 2? Did Glitch allow that? Glitch is a company, so I'd imagine because they're a company, they want to make money, and they definitely are. And the way they're Glitch acting, they're definitely seeking the profit incentive to fuel the machine, as it were. Which is perfectly fair enough as far as I'm concerned, because they need to pay all their people and whatnot. So I think that definitely the potential of dollar signs for them would be a motivator for them to attempt it, but they need Liam on board. And if Liam doesn't want to do it, then they're stuck. And if Liam wants to do it and Glitch doesn't want to do it, then they're stuck. So both the stars need to sort of align. It is possible, but I don't think we see it for at least at least another year or two, a bare minimum, before we hear a peep of it. Yeah, what do you think, Yag?
I agree, because I think MD easily has their most passionate fandom, despite Digital Circus, trumping them in terms of raw numbers. I mean, just whenever I go on any social media, be it YouTube, Twitter, or what have you, just Murder Drones fan art especially gets thousands of likes on the daily. Tons of people, have opinions on it. Tons of people really want more, and I'm pretty sure by now they definitely know that, because in GlitchX 2024 last year, the live chat and everything, it was all just people spamming Murder Drone Season 2, all that type of stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it was literally just that. I can try and get a screenshot, but with that in mind, I think they will appease to that or to the fandom eventually, with maybe a spin-off, or maybe a season 2 in a couple years. I'm pretty sure they're not done with this IP, to be very frank.
We can only hope. I mean, I agree with you guys. I think it will happen eventually, but I don't know. I just had a thought while you guys were talking. Let's say the comic comes out. Again, we're not hoping for this. None of us are hoping that the comic bombs. but on the slim chance that it comes out, well, it's probably not going to bomb, but let's say it's negatively received. On the slim chance that it does cause a stir across social media, imagine Glitch comes out and is like, all right, we're going to do season 2 now to try and like make up for that. I don't see them doing that, but that would be a pretty, I don't know if ironic's the right word, but that would be a pretty ironic turn of events if, because you're right. The Kickstarter alone has proved, I mean, $500,000 in one day. Are you kidding me? And isn't one of their tiers like $1,000 or something like that? It's
the highest one is 2,000. Yeah. There's only 25 copies available for that one.
Holy crap. What comes with that again? Do we know?
It's pretty much just like a VHS tape, and some merch.
Wow. I mean, if you're a hardcore Murder Drones fan, yeah, I see it.
Yeah. And I saw that thing sell out in real time live, like in the first day that it was announced. Like all 25 copies were sold out almost instantly.
If nothing else, I think all of this goes to show that Murder Drones is not only alive and well, but I would dare say it's approaching on timeless. I don't know if we've quite reached that yet, because again, it's only been like a year or so since the show ended, a couple years since it started, but it's clearly proving that it's got staying power. And, the Amazing Digital Circus probably has staying power too, maybe. It's kind of hard to tell, especially because the show is still going. But I don't know about you guys. I've definitely noticed a dip in discussion around the Amazing Digital Circus as the episodes have gone. Like, we are nowhere near the first, 4 episodes and the hype surrounding them. Don't get me wrong. Still going viral, the new episodes of TADC. But it kind of feels like as much as people like the show, I don't know, you pair I think it's only fair to compare TADC and MD, Murder Drones and the Amazing Digital Circus. And whereas it'll be interesting to see, what I'm getting at is it'll be interesting to see after the Amazing Digital Circus ends, will people still continue making fan-related stuff around it the same way that Murder Drones has gotten that? I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that's a fair comparison?
I think it is, objectively. Just ignoring the raw numbers, Digital Circus and MD are very similar shows inherently, not only because they're made by the same parent company, of course, but they generally have kind of a similar vibe, especially say Digital Circus episode 3 and just MD in general. In terms of fan projects though, I think Digital Circus has a lot of staying power still. Not sure if you know about this project, but I know Dyer brought this up to me recently. It's Digital Circus Fight Club. It was another Digital Circus fan project. Yeah,
I've seen
that. Yeah, they did a Kickstarter recently, and that went very, very well. And that's a sign, in my opinion, that Digital Circus has a lot of longevity in it.
20,000, a couple weeks, I think.
Yeah, 20,000, yeah. Ooh. For just that one fan project.
So there's definitely some demand.
Absolutely.
Man. I don't know. Do you guys think this is more so a personal question for me? Because I very much so care about this show. Do you guys think the Gaslight District is going to reach the same high as the TADC and MD have?
No.
Yeah, no, just go back to the previous question so I actually get a chance to answer it.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, go. Yeah.
I think TADC has a larger fan base. I don't think they're quite dedicated though. I think Digital Circus is definitely going to stick around, but I think if you go on to the search statistics on Google Trends, you'll see that Digital Circus spikes up massively, way higher than MD whenever an episode comes out, but then it craters back down to almost the same level as MD. If you look at it now, the search results about 5 to 3. Digital Circus is getting more search results, but typically, but at a time when MD peaked above it, or at least at the same level, I think peaked back down again. And Murder Drones has been over for a year. So it definitely seems like the Murder Drone community has stuck around and endured, and considering that Digital Circus is still running a show and spikes up massively between episodes, it doesn't actually seem to stick around a lot. It seems like a lot of people watch it and then they just forget about it completely. While a lot of other people who watch Murder Drones stuck around a lot more. It also doesn't help that the actual YouTube ecosystem for it, unless you're a big fan project or a big animator or a big YouTuber, no one gets anything on for Digital Circus content. Like, you have to be one of the big boys or have a big fan project. You have to have a big fan animation or a big AU comic or a big voice actor thing. And when you do get that, you get a lot of views. Don't get me wrong, but if you're not one of the big boys, you get nothing, and that really cripples ability for Digital Circus content to grow. That isn't already the big channels who are dipping their toes in for it.
I feel like we're getting almost too much Amazing Digital Circus stuff. At least whenever a new episode comes out, my feed is just flooded with fan comics, fan animations, of course, YouTube slop. And it's all Digital Circus themed. And it gets to the point where even as a fan, even as someone who like loves this kind of content, it gets to be a lot. I've never felt that way with Murder Drones. I don't ever feel like overwhelmed personally. That's just, I don't know. I really want, I don't know. The future is very uncertain. It's hopeful though. It's very, very hopeful. I don't think that Glitch is in a bad place by any means. It'll just be interesting, especially with Knights of Gwenivere coming out, which...
Ooh, yeah.
So I wanted to ask you guys about that. How do
Go on, yeah.
So we've gotten a couple things with Knights of Gwenivere. For anyone who doesn't know, we've gotten the official trailer, besides just the teaser trailer. Told us a lot about the show itself, the characters, the environment, some hilarious jabs at Disney. And then we also got some, I guess it was like a director spotlight kind of thing. Where they
the interview with Dana Terrence, right?
Yeah. I'll admit,
yeah.
The setting for that was a little strange.
You're on a boat, wasn't it?
It was a boat, yeah.
It was, I think, Liam. Was Liam the one talking to her?
No, Kevin.
No, that was Kevin.
Oh,
Kevin, yeah.
Kevin was talking to her.
Co-founder of Glitch. Yeah.
Yeah. So they went back and forth, talked about a few details. It didn't sound to me like they spoiled a whole lot of anything, at least nothing that wasn't already in the trailer. So what do you guys think about it?
Dyer?
I'll be honest, I'm very unsure about it. Like, I think it'll be all right, but like, something just feels off about to me. There's a feeling I can't shake with it. It just seems very... I feel like it's gonna make a big splash, but I don't think people... nothing really grabbed me, and it just gave me like bad vibes. And like, I'm seeing some red flags from my perspective. It's difficult to describe, but like the trailer, where it's all going, like I feel like I can give a solid prediction of what the plot's actually going to be.
Do tell.
Well, it was going to be is two characters. It's already been confirmed that they work at the hotel park. They're going to find one of the Guyavir androids. They're going to make friends with it. It's going to become like its own person, more unique from like the other, kind of like a Buzz Lightyear thing, where like, you got his factory reset, then become more of a character. And then they're going to go on like a quest to try and take down evil Disney. And the girl going to grow up, that the princess in the trailer going to grow up and be very mean and like be like an obsessive, like obsessed with the Guyavir androids, or like want to do whatever they want to do with them. They seem to like to torture them, but it got to be a bit more than that. Probably some like life thing going on there. So more sinister going on part of the theme park. It's gonna be them trying to navigate the world through their the decaying world and the evil corporation coming to get them. I'm sure there's a lot of twists and turns and revelations that will come in with that, but that seems to be the basic structure that's going to be going on. And I'm just not really endeared to any of the characters or anything else. Like, it's difficult to say that they haven't come out yet. I guess it's really just my vibe. But like with MD and Digital Circus and Gaslight, there was something immediately more hooking about it than this show for me.
Yaxter, what do you think?
I'm kind of in the same boat, but I'm a bit more optimistic, purely because I do really enjoy 2D animated stuff. I believe I said this last time, but I'm a huge Steven Universe fan. I actually Dyer and me watched a good chunk of it, like 2 days ago, I think. And
watch most of the series.
I did drag him along for that. So yeah, that was fun. Anyways, though, yeah, I do get the same kind of vibe of like nothing really pops out to me immediately, but I'm obviously going to give it a chance. And I do think that purely number-wise, this show will be their third best performing in terms of like overall, because it'll be obviously Digital Circus, MD, then Gwenivere presumably, then Gaslight, and then Meta Runner, Sunset. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Dang. I will say I have kind of the opposite approach at this point. I was in the same boat to both of you. I didn't really feel like there was anything interesting about it at first. I was like, oh, okay, this is just another like, ooh, spooky kind of animated thing. And then they mentioned in the trailer that it has, or at least it heavily features animatronics, like broken animatronics. Ooh. That was the moment where I was like, oh, all right, this is going to be a hit. 100%. This, like, because, FNAF has changed how people view animatronics online forever. Poppy Playtime has also propped it up. I would even say, like, Bendy and the Ink Machine. All three of these series do a pretty good job of the, like, anti-big scary corporation that pretends to be kid-friendly but is actually not and has malicious intent. They've all done that pretty well. So it'll be interesting to see if Knights of Gwenivere does anything different.
I think a lot of those animatronics in those series lend themselves to OCs, fanfics, and other such jargon around that. But the Gwenivere stuff doesn't. Like, most of the androids seem to be Gwenivere, and there's also those like furry burry like animal ones. So unless the trailer's hiding how much they're featured, it seems to be mostly Gwenivere all the way. And I just don't think that people will latch onto those nearly as much as like the FNAF animatronics or Bendy or Poppy Playtime, all those characters. They're a lot more bluntly, they feel a lot more marketable for like merch to fanfics and OC stuff. Like you see a million Murder Drones OCs and fanfics stuff going around. You see a million FNAF OCs and fanfics going around. You see loads of Bendy and Poppy Playtime stuff going around. I don't know if Gwenivere with the designs and what they're actually doing with them really lends itself to that fully.
I'd be interested to see like what direction they take with merchandising. With I mean, there's been consistency across the board. You got your T-shirts, you've got your pins, you've got sticker sheets, and of course plushies. I'd be interested to see if they try to do something, because towards the end with Murder Drones, we got the it was an N figure. It wasn't a Figma. It was just like a statue. And that was cool. So unique items like that, I'd be interested to see if they try to do anything with Gwenivere. Again, we're just speculating right now. The show hasn't come out yet. It is coming out soon, though. When does it drop again?
It should literally be this Friday.
Holy cow. Well, we'll watch with bated breath, I'm sure. I need to find some people that I can watch it with, because that'd be fun to do like a live. I'm not the kind of person to do reaction content necessarily, but a live viewing might be interesting, because on the one hand, I don't know how you guys feel. I kind of want Knights of Gwenivere to do well, but on the other hand, I do agree with you. There's something about it that feels a little off, and I really hope we're wrong. Is what I'm saying, because I want just the idea that they're specific. They're not outright calling Disney out necessarily, but the idea that they're poking fun at what happened to the creator and how the mouse treated her. I say the mouse, I mean Disney. I kind of want it. It's not going to go this way. Imagine if Knights of Gwenivere just goes like full parody. It's not going to happen. There's probably going to be jokes at best, or like references, but I don't know. I hope Knights of Gwenivere does well. I wish everybody
it also might age really well or really poorly, depending on how Glitch operates going forward. They're basically making us say, hey, look, Disney is evil. We're better than Disney, and And it does really seem like the show's creators really invested in going after Disney. And if you're making a story more for going after Disney rather than creating a good story, that compromises your ability to tell a good story.
That's fair.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how far the Disney attacks go.
I think it'd be even worse
because she was very, very angry on Twitter, if I remember correctly, around the time where the Our House got cancelled. She was kicking up a storm over there. So it'll be interesting to see what she does with this new show of hers.
Heaven forbid Disney does something that earns public trust back, and suddenly Knights of Gwenivere is like, why are you criticizing Disney? Disney's great.
No, it wouldn't be like that. It'd be like more Glitch does the same stuff Disney does, which you could already argue they're doing like massive over merchification of their shows. You could argue it's already a Disney kind of thing, like, which erodes the artistic integrity of the projects. You could argue Glitch has already fallen down that path. The Glitch have also had instances where they've treated their employees a bit questionably, without firing that one VA.
The Tari VA. Yeah.
You could argue that, they argue, okay, treating their employee poorly. Okay, Glitch done that as well. So them taking mass that.
I can go quick summary. So Meta Runner, right? Their first ever show. The main character is Tari, like the blue-haired girl. I believe it was late 2021. Yeah, it was late 2021. It was when MD episode 6 premiered. Around that time, they Glitch removed her VA and recast her without informing her. It was a huge oversight by Jasmine Yang, I believe, the vocal director at Glitch. And there was like a huge let's cancel Glitch sort of thing on Twitter, where a bunch of quote unquote former employees said like, oh yeah, Glitch were abusive, yada yada. And then this had Kevin and Luke, I believe, issue out like a statement saying like, hey guys, we're sorry and everything. MD episode 7 and 8 are going to be delayed. Let me try and find it. Point is though, it was like their first ever like huge public stunt that really dragged their name through the mud. And yeah, it was generally a really bad time to be a Glitch fan. Where is it? But yeah, the main thing is that they replaced a VA without telling her. It was like their, first ever main character VA too, on top of that.
Yikes, I wasn't aware of that.
Let me try and find it.
So you could say there's a comparison there to Terrence's, Southern firing by Disney and then Glitch doing this fire to some VA. You could argue that that's a comparative situation there. So I think, he lives in glass houses, should be careful about throwing stones and all that. I'm obviously not trying to say Glitch is a bad as Disney or anything like that, but like, should anything else happen, it could age very poorly, especially if they end up doing that kind of thing they mock this fictional corporation for doing.
Right, here's the apology. Hold up, that might not be the best quality. Hold up. But yeah, that it was a real thing, and it's still like it's something that a lot of people kind of like swept under the rug, I think. Just kind of forgot about it for a couple months. Because the main takeaway for a lot of like tunnel vision fans was just, oh hey, MD episodes 7 and 8 are going to be delayed, and that was about it, really.
Yeah, I think that's actually had massive repercussions. Honestly, that what happened there. Like, I'm gonna be honest. If whatever happened there, it was enough to delay episode 7, 8. So again, I'm not sure if it's that situation, but something definitely happened. A glitch
behind the scenes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, something definitely happened. Delayed episode 7, 8. That then delayed Digital Circus. That then delayed Gaslight, and then put Gaslight on a massive back burner now. Gaslight being hit with a massive ripple effect of that, and probably did something to Gwenivere. May have done something to Gwenivere as well. So honestly, like the weird release schedule they have currently, but honestly, they released the pilot for Gaslight, and now we're going to see nothing from Gaslight for another like year or so, and it's going to pop up again and kill all attention for Gaslight potentially. And Digital Circus all being pushed back. That also, that seems to be a ripple effect from related to around that situation. It was interesting that they decided to make that announcement in that apology post, which suggests that they're related. But there had to be something else, like either something to do with Liam and the writing of the show, something to do with a massive organizational issue, or timeline cock up. Like, They just didn't plan things ahead properly. Like, something had to have happened because I think it's delayed their entire upload schedule for like going back a year now.
It might have,
huge ripple effect.
as far as ripple effects go, it might have another effect. Now, if heaven forbid they have a voice actor, voice acting talent that isn't what they want or does something publicly, now they're going to have to think twice about letting him go. Just because even if they're completely justified, because they've had this situation in the past, people will just make assumptions. And it's kind of a mess. I do think they might be doing an okay job of navigating it as of now. Like I said, I haven't heard of this, and it is kind of sad that it happened, but I I don't know, man. Like it'll be interesting to see going forward, especially with Knights of Gwenivere coming out and with the Amazing Digital Circus wrapping up this next year, or at least the first season. It'll be interesting to see what goes on. And I mean, based on what we've seen with Murder Drones, it looks like the voice actors are pretty willing to come back, even if it's just a merch plug kind of thing. But I mean, Glitch does have a lot of fun with those merch episodes. They get they're just ads, basically glorified ads for plushies and stuff, but they get millions upon millions of views because it's still technically the Amazing Digital Circus content or Murder Drones content or whatever it might be. So it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. Do you guys have any opinions on what Glitch is doing with Murder Drones right now? Specifically, the merch stuff, and we've talked already about the graphic novel, which is apparently unofficial. Do you guys feel one way or another about what Glitch is doing? I guess a better question would be, what would you guys want to see Glitch do with Murder Drones going forward?
That's a good question, actually. Dyer, do you have any immediate answer to that?
Yeah, like a lot of people are going to go about the over merchification, like the eroding of the artistic work through these merch videos. And while it definitely is the case, and it's a bit tiresome how they got like a merch thing for everything now, I think it's very over commercialized. They are a growing company and they need to pay all their employees, and they're trying to fund all their projects, like, yeah, and they're trying to grow. So well, it's a bit annoying sometimes. I don't fault them because they need to pay their animators and they have a growing team. They have like full departments now who aren't even doing stuff related to animation, to stuff about running the business. They have an office they need to pay for, and they have all these other expenses and taxes they have to accompany for. So, they were signing on with Amazon, them doing all these other bits and bobs and merch drops and everything else to keep funding going because, the episodes themselves make no money, practically. They'll make no money, comparatively no money. So I need these merch drops and other sources of revenue to get in there and continue on, like, function as a company. I think they have really outgrown the label of really indie animation. They technically are indie animation. Technically, like the technical definition, they are because they're independent. But functionally, when people say indie animation, they don't think of Glitch. They don't think of what Glitch's situation. They think of more a scrappy little studio. They think honestly more like what we have in System Lock for Insecurity. It's more people think indie animation. They don't really think a company that's signed on with the Australian government, Epic Games, Amazon. They got stuff on Netflix. That's not really what people consider indie animation. So they're going to eventually have to kind of leave that label behind, otherwise it'll get tiresome. I do wish they'd do something more with Murder Drones. Like, again, I think, to my mind, the easiest thing I think they could do is just do like short, like 5-minute, 3-minute episodes of Murder Drones. Just a little thing to kind of feed the fan base a bit longer and get some uploads going in between their major releases. Like, they have enough animators to work on like 2 episodes simultaneously, it seems. So just like a small group of animators and a couple storyboarders just to storyboard out a short segment to kind of post, maybe even shorts, just to kind of post around, just have something in the interim between episodes. Probably would be their best path forward if they're unwilling to commit to a full season 2 or any other larger projects.
Sorry, I'm imagining.
Sorry, I rambled there for a bit.
No, you're good. Yaxter, what do you think?
Same boat, really. Same boat. I'm personally, I'm not too big of a fan of, I suppose, the oversaturation of MD in terms of merch. Just seeing like all the glitch in, funny, chibi stuff, like in a vacuum, I believe that it's good. But when pretty much the only MD stuff we're getting is either chibi glitch in stuff or like, hey guys, here's this comic, but it's not like anything animated, though it is like still kind of cool. It's a bit tiring. I would personally like to see shorts and like maybe, dare I say, in a couple years, like a spin-off or two that maybe delves into like a prequel of MD, like maybe explaining the Elliot Manor stuff without Crozy, maybe explaining the Cabin Fever stuff that happened with Khan, Nori, and Yeva, explaining the Cathedral stuff with like Dr. Chambers and Mitchell and everything. There's a lot of stuff that they can do to inherently enhance the source material while still pulling in new viewers. And that is just, exploring these new avenues that the canon show teased maybe like for a couple of minutes and then like never goes back into. I think that's the best way to go about it, because it's crossing that fine line between it's a season 2 and like we're getting more content, and then like we're not getting a season 2. It's like the perfect balance, I would say.
I agree. I think shorts is an untapped market for sure, especially on YouTube and TikTok.
Absolutely.
If they were making, even if it's just character spotlights, they could like a day in the life of I don't know, Thad, just him getting ready for school, like little things like that hopefully don't take too much time and resources. I think people would just gobble it up. And honestly,
exactly.
Not that I don't think Glitch doesn't care. They do, but it would confirm to their audience that, yeah, we still care about our IPs outside of merch. I just think it'd be a good idea. But then again, I'm not running a seriously successful indie animated studio that's funded by the Australian government. So what do I know? I just
fair.
I think the future is as bright as it can be right now. I'm so happy when people discover Murder Drones for the first time. Like, imagine somebody listening to this episode and this is their first exposure, not only to all of us, but to the show Murder Drones. And then they go and they watch it and they realize how fun it is. That kind of stuff happens. It happens every day. Not necessarily with this content, but I just think it's cool. I love that people are still discovering Murder Drones for the first time. And honestly, I hope that someday we do get an official season 2, because that would just be
absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. But with that, gentlemen, is there anything else you want to plug real quick? Because we've reached the end of this episode. Are you? I mean, obviously, Dire Duck, your awesome series that you're working on, Insecurity. Where can people find you?
I will go. I guess go on to System Lock Studios and check us out. We posted our big update videos in a while with some nice little animated skits. So even if you're not really interested in the update videos, there's a little fun thing for you to look at there. And we post semi-regularly on there, trying to keep more consistent update schedule going. Apart from that, I have my own personal channel where I talk about indie animation and some other things. I've got a big video coming out this week, actually. Probably my biggest video ever, actually. So that's something to look forward to there. And what else? I think make sure to go support the other artists and animators that appear in that System Lock video, and just generally in the community.
Go do it, guys. There will be links in the description of this video, so please click on all of them and just check everybody out. And hit the subscribe button on their channels while you're there. It literally costs you nothing, and it does so much for them. So please do that. Yagster, where can people find you?
On YouTube, just Yagster. That's all I got.
Awesome. Are you working on anything right now?
I am actually, though I don't believe I will say at the moment, but I myself do have some big stuff I do want to pump out, hopefully by December, I want to say. So yeah, please do keep an eye out for that.
I'm excited. Well, everybody, again, on behalf of everybody listening, I want to thank you guys both, Yagster and Dire Duck, for being back on this little podcast of mine. It's always a joy talking to you guys, and you guys know things that I don't, and I love hearing from you. So thank you again for being here on this episode. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. It's our pleasure. Like, it really is.
You guys rock. But with that, I want to thank everyone who tuned in for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And keep in mind, we are working towards our goal of 80,000 subscribers. We're coming up close. Hopefully we'll reach it by the end of the month. But either way, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.